Hello and welcome to Loppy Loves Eco. If you haven't been here before, my name is Lauren and on this channel I talk about sustainability and eco-friendly living on a budget. In today's video I am going to be talking about reusable period products. So in this video I am going to talk about reusable cloth pads, menstrual cups, interlabial pads, period pants and wet bags. Okay, so first of all I am going to talk about reusable cloth pads. Cloth pads come in so many different shapes, sizes, absorbencies, fabrics, patterns. There is a lot of variety out there, so I'm just going to go through a few different styles and how to use them. So I would consider this just a pretty standard pad. It is regular absorbency, it's not too thick. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the thickness here, but they're not super thick. Some of the heavy pads can be, but it's very soft fabric. It's cotton jersey and it is fleece on the back. Maybe this is not the best example to use because it's so dark, but it's just fleece on the back, cotton jersey on the front, and then it has an absorbent layer enclosed in the pad. And how these work is you have your underwear, you put the pretty side facing up towards you, and these snaps on the side go around your underwear and you pop them into place, and that is how it stays secure onto your underwear. And like I said, you can get them in so many different varieties. So here I have some liners, so these are just very small like panty liners. And this is just a regular panty liner, and this is an exposed core. So if you see, there's two different layers here. So this is the absorbent part, and the absorbent part is made separately and sewed onto the wings on the back. And these ones have little heart-shaped snaps, if you can see. This one has metal snaps. The plastic snaps can break. I have never had that happen, and I've had some of my pads for 4 years and they have never cracked. I've never lost a popper yet. There is time. Here I have a light pad, and this one actually has embroidery on it. So this is a Halloween pad with glow-in-the-dark embroidery thread on it. So you can get some embroidered pads from sellers. It doesn't do anything about the absorbency, it's just a design preference. And you can get pads in different fabrics. This one is made of bamboo velour, which I think is my favourite fabric to have on pads, but I don't think I have any other pads in this fabric. I have been on the eye out for some that I like, but it's so soft and quite absorbent, but it also feels dry when you're wearing it. These ones are what is referred to as China cheapies. I really don't like that name, but they're ones that you can buy very cheaply from China. This is also the kind that a lot of Facebook adverts advertise, if you've ever had those in your feed. Maybe you haven't, but they're like a PUL plasticky back, and then the core is not the pretty side on the China cheapies, it's the other way around. If you buy handmade pads, it's the pretty side faces upwards, but if you buy a China cheapie, the pretty side is downwards and the plain side is to you. Now these are great because the backing is water resistant, it's not going to leak through, but because the backing isn't fleece, it can have a tendency to like slide around a little bit, but they do usually have two poppers so that you can choose how tight you want to wear it. And also just this white fabric is not that soft. It's not uncomfortable at all, it's just not that soft. I much prefer them with this black, they call it charcoal bamboo fabric. I don't know if it's bamboo or charcoal infused, I don't think I believe that, but this is incredibly soft fabric, and again it's the same on the back with the plasticky PUL. These two are some of my original pads that I have had for 4 years. They are from a wonderful company called Fanny Padams. So I just wanted to show you that I've had these 4 years. I use these every month without fail. They are not stained. They don't need to stain. If you take care of them well, they won't. I've never had any problems with staining, at least. And so after 4 years of use, they're still in very good condition, the snaps haven't broken, and they're still super absorbent. And if anything, they get more absorbent as time goes on because the kind of fabric that is used in the core needs to be washed to become absorbent. And I forgot to mention that in the kind that have the fleece back, there is usually a layer of PUL, like the plasticky fabric, inside, behind the absorbent core. I got 6 of these from this seller when I started using them, and I got 3 with the PUL lining and 3 without. And I don't know which ones have it and which ones don't, but I have never had any trouble with leaking with these. And you can also get the massive overnight or postpartum pads. So I have 2 different kinds here in 2 different fabrics. This one is also one of the original pads that I bought, but from a different company. This was from Precious Stars Pads. She has a really great YouTube channel all about reusable pads, so you should watch that if you want to learn more. And this is Minky fabric, which is like it's not the same as the bamboo velour because it's artificial, but again it's a very cosy, like plush fabric, and I really like wearing these ones. This is like a China cheapie because it has the plasticky backing, and they're super absorbent because of the size of them, and they are quite thick because of the high absorbency. This is another handmade one from a company called English Garden Lovelies, and again it's an exposed core, so it has 2 layers. And these are also referred to as back bleeders or front bleeders. So if you tend to bleed more towards the back or the front rather than the centre, you can invest in some back bleeders. They don't just come in overnight heavies, they also come in lower absorbencies, I believe. It's just the shape where it's like one side is a lot wider than the other. That is a back bleeder. So next we will go on to menstrual cups. This is my cup that I have had again for 4 years. Some people will have to try a few cups to get the one that is right for them. I was extremely lucky in that the first one I tried worked perfectly for me. This is a Maluna soft cup, I believe. So this was, I think, £15 back in 2018. It's probably more expensive now with inflation, but it wasn't that expensive. Actually, it was quite a budget-friendly cup. Some of them can be expensive, I am aware, but I do think they are worth the investment if you get it right. That's the only problem, is that if you have to try like 5 different cups, you're going to be investing a lot of money. Now, if you are looking at that and thinking there is no way that is fitting where it's meant to go, don't worry, because you fold this up smaller before you insert it. So there are a few folds you can do. You can do a C fold, which kind of like halves the size of it. You can do an S fold, which again makes it quite narrow. Or you can do a fold, I can't remember the name of this one, but you kind of like push it down and it gets smaller. I'm not very good at doing this one. There you go. And then you'd insert it like that way. And it just opens up when it is in position, and it should create a suction to hold it in place. And the great thing about cups is that because they aren't absorbent like tampons, there is less of a risk of getting toxic shock syndrome. They can be in place longer, I think up to 12 hours, so they're great for overnight, or if you are going to have a busy day and you don't think you're going to be able to change during the day. They're good for like using for a long period of time. They're also good to go swimming in, because they just hold everything in place if they're working properly. If they're leaking, it might not be the right cup for you, or you might not have created a good suction. They are made of, I believe, medical grade silicone, which is why you should buy them from a trusted, reputable company, not just the cheap ones that you can get off Wish, or like the dodgy adverts that come up on Facebook where it's like buy one for $1 and get one free. Don't buy those cups because you don't actually know what they're made out of, and you wouldn't want to risk putting anything inside you that you are not 100% sure is going to be safe. Next, I am going to be talking about interlabial pads, and these are something that you might not have heard of, even if you've heard of everything else I'm talking about today. These are great little things, and they're normally very cheap as well, which is a bonus. So what they are, they're good to be using with cloth pads or menstrual cups. With a cloth pad, you use it to kind of like wick the blood into the centre of the pad. And with menstrual cups, they're just like an additional backup. There are a few ways that you can use them. So you can use them, just fold them into place and kind of slot them like this between the labia, and they will stay in place, and after a few moments you shouldn't be able to feel them. They're very comfortable. You can't feel them at all. And in fact, the danger of not being able to feel them is that you might forget that you're wearing one when you go to the bathroom and lose them down the toilet. That happens to many people. These ones are from one of my favourite companies, which is called The Pad Lady. And she is a zero waste company, and these are all made from the offcuts of fabrics that she makes her pads and other products out of. And I think they just cost about 50p each. They're really cheap, and if you order from her, sometimes she throws in some as just as a free gift because she has some going spare. I think you can also roll them up as well. I've never tried that. I don't know if you're meant to roll them like long ways or lengthways, like this. In fact, it's probably the other way. Or is it? I don't really know. I never wear them like this, so I'm not the person to ask. If you're interested in these, I'd recommend like going on YouTube for a tutorial on how to use them. But like I said, I just wear them folded in place, and they just hold in place. Next is probably the most popular item in terms of reusable period products, and that is period underwear. These are so comfortable. I love wearing them, but I usually just use them at home or overnight. They're not really something I'm comfortable to wear to work because, for a start, I don't really want to change my underwear at work. And the company that I work for, we have to wear white kind of see-through trousers, and there is not a single woman working at that company who's happy with that arrangement, but no one wants to tell management because it is kind of embarrassing. Some people do leak when they're on the period, and it very obviously stains the trousers. It's just a really uncomfortable situation. So the reason that I wouldn't wear these to work is because, firstly, it's a bit inconvenient for me to be changing my underwear, and secondly, I just prefer to use something with like a heavier absorbency to make sure my trousers aren't stained at work. But you can buy them from the big brands like Thinx or Modibody, Wooker, or you can buy handmade ones, which is what I prefer. This style of underwear is called scrundies, and I wear them anyway as my normal everyday pants just because there's no elastic. This is all like cotton jersey, like t-shirt material. They're very comfortable, and the period scrundies literally just have a pad sewn in, like built into the gusset of the underwear. And again, these are from the Pad Lady. I think almost all of my period underwear come from her, just because she makes them so well. But yeah, so you can buy ones that are homemade. They're normally made by stay-at-home mums. I think the main suppliers of like handmade pads and period products, I think they are stay-at-home mums usually. Or you can get the very stylish, like big brand period underwear. These are the Primark pants, which are quite cheap. I am surprisingly impressed with them. I have been using these for almost a year, and I have been planning to do a video on them for almost a year. I promise that is in the making soon, just like my little review of them. But yeah, so again, these just have the pad built in. Although I don't understand on these, so I don't have any Thinx or anything to compare them with. It doesn't feel like there is anything in there. It feels a little bit plasticky, but I can't feel a pad. Like in these, they're quite thick in the gusset, so you know that there is a pad in there. This doesn't feel thick, and I don't know where the blood goes because they are quite absorbent. They're just magic. But yeah, these are the option if you're at home a lot and just want to be comfortable, I guess. If I was working from home, I think I would just live in these, honestly. I don't know, I think I love my pads, so I'd probably carry on using them still, but these would probably be my main choice. The range of these is constantly expanding, and that's very exciting. I've seen that you can get period bikini bottoms, so you wouldn't even need to wear a cup when you go swimming. although I don't know if I'd trust that 100%. And also shorts for sleeping in. I have been wanting to get a pair of period shorts for quite a while, but they are quite expensive and I am not currently willing to invest that much money in them. And finally, I am going to be talking about wet bags. So you get little ones like this, or big ones like this. So the little wet bags are just for when you're out and about, for storing your used pads inside of, and interlabial pads. They just have a zip, and again they're made out of PUL, like plasticky fabric. They're water resistant. Your pads shouldn't smell anyway, but they keep any smells inside if they do. And you can get them in loads of different styles. I just get mine from China. Like this one I think was from AliExpress years ago. This one was from Wish fairly recently when I did my eco-friendly Wish haul. I'll link the video to that here. But they're very cheap. They're convenient, it's good to have a few of them on hand. And the big wet bag, hey. And the big wet bags just have a dry compartment and wet compartment. So the wet compartment contains used pads, and the dry compartment is just to store any pads that you haven't used, like they're just waiting to be used. You can also use them for reusable nappies. This one was from Fanny Paddams when I bought my first lot of pads from her. So yeah, that's it for today's video. I hope you learned something from it. Please let me know in the comments below if you have ever used reusable period products, if you'd consider it, or if you are absolutely turned off by the idea. Just let me know in the comments below. Please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Have a lovely day and I will see you in the next video. Bye.